is a cooperative of farmers in the area. Glenmorangie uses a number of different cask types, with all products being matured in white oak casks, which are manufactured. This is really cool. They have their own forest in Missouri in the United States, so they use the trees from that forest to make their caskets to distill and age their whiskey. So it's kind of exclusive. They have their own water source, they have their own forests to make their own casks to distill their whiskey. So it's pretty high-end whiskey, not to mention single malt whiskeys are generally the more expensive type of whiskeys out there. It's been striving for excellence in the past 160 years since it's been founded, and two of the company's whiskeys, the 12-year-old La Santa and the 18-year-old single malt spirits, have never received anything less than a gold medal at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition, which is pretty cool. Another one of the most popular, or one of the really popular distilleries in the Highlands is the Glen Ord Distillery, which is in the Black Isle of the Highlands. It was founded in 1838, and it's known to have a very distinct flavor, and it's sought after by people like all over the world. So it's sold all over the world, but due to its distinct flavor, I think it makes it a little bit more popular. And yeah. So now that we've talked a little bit about the whiskeys, it's obvious that Scots don't just drink whiskey. They are big fans of ale, and at one point in time in the 1800s, ale was even more popular than whiskey was because of it was cheaper, it was just easier to drink, and it's not a big difference from here actually. Like everyone in university, I'll go back to my university roots right now, everyone prefers beer, it seems, as opposed to spirits and liquors and stuff like that. Not to mention whiskeys, like you don't see too many 19, 20-year-olds drinking, sitting down with a whiskey on the rocks or something like that. But pubs, which we have a few in Ottawa, the Highlander pub, the Lunenburg pub, that's where most Scottish people like to drink. Like, they do drink obviously on holidays and in their homes and stuff, but pubs are, I'd say, the pretty much primary place where they drink. And a cool fact is that not only does everyone else in the world seem to think that drinking is a way of life for Scottish people, but more than half of people in Scotland believe that drinking is a way of life for them as well, which can't be too good for the alcoholism or addictions in that sense. But I guess they don't really care, it's part of their culture. Holidays in Scotland are usually celebrated primarily with food and drink, which can be related to pretty much any of our holidays. We always incorporate some sort of drinking and eating into our Christmases and birthdays and Easter and stuff like that. They celebrate some of the same holidays as we do, like Christmas and stuff like that, but they also have their own holidays. Instead of New Year's Eve, they call it Hogmanay, which is like the celebration of the last day of the year, similar to our New Year's Eve, which you can only imagine if Canadians go crazy, the Scots would go crazy too and just drink the whole night away. St. Andrew's Day is another one. They celebrate St. Andrew, who founded St. Andrews. All of these days can be enhanced with a glass of whiskey or a pint of ale, or a pint of ale, sorry. But it's like, just like anyone else, they celebrate their holidays with drinking and food and everything like that. But unlike us, because as a university student, North American, whatever, we're, in this day and age, I feel like we are very reliant on drinking games to get us drunk, like turning drinking into a game, but Scots don't feel the same way generally. They'd rather just go to the pub, sit down, have a drink with their friends, and just stay there all night, maybe play some pool, whatever, some sort of sport, darts, pool, depending on the pub you're in, if the pub offers that. If not, then you just sit there with some beer or some whiskey or whatever else you want to drink. They do, however, have generation-old drinking songs, which is pretty awesome because the only drinking song I can think of in the 2000s, 2012, is the pre-song for Flip Cup. So there's no words, it's just kind of sounds and banging on things. But some of the drinking songs that Scots, like, I found a list of the top 10 drinking songs in Scotland that are still used today. They don't know the origin of these songs, and lots of artists have reproduced them and everything, but they're still not sure where exactly these songs came from, but they've been passed down from generation to generation to generation, which is something that Scottish people do with everything. They tell their stories through songs and poetry. Like, it's so much easier and so much more fun and easily remembered to do it that way than to just write history books, because not everyone likes to read history books. But some of the drinking songs that were on that list that are the most famous were Macpherson's Lament, which is a drinking song that tells of a death of a fellow drinking buddy, and the song tells about how he danced and drank on the night he died. Yeah, it doesn't sound that happy, and not all the drinking songs in Scotland are happy and exciting like that. Like, a lot of them just are there to just tell stories, like I said earlier. Some of the other songs that are sad, not so happy, are Jack McGraw and Johnny O'Braids, and at the end of the video I'll play one of those songs for you. But another song, which is a bagpipe tune,